Just hit it now. All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Greer, and my final thesis project is Alpha Dogs. What I'll present today is I will be introducing myself. I'll talk about my project and how I did it, and at the end I'll take questions from the committee. My art and design career began at a young age. I started drawing on walls really young, and my parents eventually got me to school where I could draw on desks and on my friends. And I left high school and went to Cal Poly as a graphic design major, where I spent 5 years in undergrad. And then once I graduated, I worked as a graphic designer for Chabot Space and Science Center, 24 Hour Fitness, and Pete's Coffee and Tea. And these jobs gave me a breadth of experience as a professional and a distaste for corporate culture. And at the end of my stint at Pete's, I figured that my next career transition would be towards the web, and that's why I decided to come to AAU as a full-time student. My portfolio shows kind of my development from the very beginning of my education here to now. And the first project was a redesign of the laundry locker site. I began with the desktop site and then moved into mobile. And that was for a typography class in the spring of 2013. The middle project is currently what I'm working on as an intern. It's for Motoroso, and this is a detail page for the a desktop computer. Blah. My final project was a freelance project I worked on, and I'll dive a little more deeper into it, but it was for LearnTech Labs, and LearnTech Labs is an education company that is targeting gap year students between high school and university that want to learn web development. My clients needed, first and foremost, a logo, and we chose the owl as a symbol of wisdom, and then I teched it up by using a low poly style and added a really sleek font, which is called Machine, and Lato for a lot of the content. Here you have kind of my style guide that I established for the developers, an example page using the Bootstrap template agency, and a couple of variations on the logo, including the favicon. And they eventually needed me to turn this out into other marketing materials like business cards, t-shirts, and everything else to attract students. Here's kind of, it's different now because they've added a video to the homepage, but when I was finished with the site, this is how it looked on the desktop and mobile experience. My project, Alpha Dogs, focuses on my experience as a dog owner. Do we have any dog owners in the crowd? Yes, all right. So, as a dog owner in the city, this is my dog Stella. She's 6 years old, and for most of those 6 years my wife or I have spent about 2 hours at the dog park every day. And what I wanted to do with Alpha Dogs is to create a mobile platform for the communities that spring up around these dog parks. The problem is that there currently is no central web presence for San Francisco dog parks. Dog owners want to be able to stay in touch with the people that they meet at these parks and avoid others who might have a bad reputation. And dog owners want a better way to find and visit new parks with their dogs. My target audience are dog owners living in San Francisco. They're aged 25 to 60 years and spend about 5+ hours a week at San Francisco dog parks. The secondary audience would be their dogs, because the users are essentially using this to get a better experience for their dogs as well as themselves. My solution was to create a mobile web app for San Francisco dog owners to better inform them about their neighborhood dog parks, connect dog owners who have similar areas and interests of play, and provide users with new places to visit that can improve the lives of their dogs. A better introduction would be best explained by my concept video, which I have not finished yet either. so I play the concept video. Do you know how long yours is going to be?
45 seconds.
Okay, so that would add 45 seconds. From midpoint, I was told to focus less on the commercial part of the site. My original idea for Alpha Dogs was to be a way for dog owners to find toys, training, and dog parks for their dogs. So I began to narrow down that focus to the social experience of the dog park. And in doing so, I checked out apps like Waze, which is a great mapping and user-generated content app, Yelp, which is also kind of a directory and rating system app, and Airbnb, which has a great photo forward and filter process in their app. My visual development again shifted as I got a lot of feedback about colors. I also wanted all of my content on the site to be original. So as you can see, I changed my colors, I changed my logo to make it more readable, flat, simple, and something that scales better for mobile users. I also wanted studio quality photography, so I spent a semester with Jim Woods shooting portraits of dogs, essentially, and all the park pictures I accumulated for the site were through visits and just taken with my iPhone, so kind of mimicking how users would be taking pictures for the site. And I also refined my icon system that is used throughout the site, as you can see here on the bottom. My user testing consisted of conversations with dog owners, questionnaires, surveys, walkthroughs, stakeholder interviews, and scenario-based prototype testing. And over here to the right, you'll see that I have kind of a graphic that shows my system, which is that I start with a prototype, I'll test users, I'll get key takeaways from those tests. And based on those key takeaways, I can make feature changes, task tweaks, sitemap shuffle, any design changes, and then update my prototype, and the cycle goes all the way back around. Here's a few screens that just show the changes I made based on user testing. This is the home page, for example. For midpoint, I had a very I had still the toy-centric application, so toys, map, and videos became my three main tools, and I shifted to a map that better utilized the real estate on the home page and focused on dog parks map in my pack, as you can see in the navigation. And for visual and for user experience, I basically worked through my wireframes and user tested my classmates and instructor in order to get to this point in July of 14. For visual design, I wanted to refine my colors, my logo, my icons, and as you can see, there was a huge design jump between these two semesters. And finally, with my most recent user experience course, I changed from having a map-based homepage to a pack activity homepage, and that is that I wanted to start allowing users to communicate person to person, then with their parks, and then with the city as large. So instead of a funnel, we have a pyramid of communication. That's not very clear at all. Just to show you kind of an example of my most effective user testing, which was prototype task-based user testing, I would get a tester, all dog owners, and get their kind of basic demographic information, ask them about how they would use the dog parks on any given typical week. I'd give them a user task, and I would track that user task, and I would give people various levels of help. That is, some tests would be full walkthroughs, others would be partial monitoring, and others would be no monitoring, so no hints at all. And then finally, I would analyze the user testing by creating a video, and you can visit my YouTube channel to see any of my past user testing videos. And based on my user testing, I refined my user needs, and they are as follows: to stay connected to what's going on at my dog park, properly prepare for a trip to the dog park, maintain contact with park friends, find new parks to visit and parks to avoid, and a way to share doggy pictures. My execution in coming from midpoint until now was first to reduce the scope. In order to do this and pull off testing, I used Envision app, YouTube, and Asana for my Agile Scrum tracking, which I'll get into later. I decided to shift from jQuery mobile to a Bootstrap framework for designing the site. It just gave me a little more creative control, which is my focus, and to deliver a fully functioning prototype and a partially coded mobile app. Once I began to get towards the end of my group-directed study, I began using an Agile Scrum, and that meant taking the tasks I wanted to accomplish per semester, assigning time chunks to them. This example is 1, 4, and 8-hour tasks, and then assigning these tasks on a per-week basis. And it has been very effective in just keeping track of what I wanted to get done. And like I said before, I started using Asana just about a month ago, and that's been quite helpful. My user personas are as follows. I have 3, and the first of the 3 is Nikki. Nikki is 32, her dog Stuart is 1. Stuart likes to fetch and chew toys and is still a young pup. He needs training and socialization skills. So Nikki's needs for Stuart's are a home park so that her and her puppy can build a routine, a fence to keep Stuart safe, and puppy friends to socialize with. The task that I've chosen for Nikki would be as a new user. So she'd come to the site, sign up, visit the home page, use the map to find her home park, and connect with another user. My second persona is Sandra. Sandra is 34, and her dog Barkley here is 5. Barkley is a toy thief, often coveting other toys from other dogs, and Sandra also has 2 children that she has to take to the park with her and Barkley most of the time. So her needs are a dog park that's located near or with a playground, avoid dogs that Barkley has had trouble with in the past, and essentially wants to go to parks that aren't crowded so she can keep an eye on her 2 children and her dog. Sandra's task flow would be to come to Alpha Dogs to check out what's going on with her pack, that is other users she's connected with, visit the 1 or 2 user pages, and both digest and reply to a user post, and then maybe use the direct messaging to inform another user of what her plans are for the day. My final persona is Chuck, and this is his dog Bear. Bear is old and she likes swimming because it's good on her arthritis, and she's been to many dog parks in her 12 years, and Chuck wants to be able to take Bear to new parks and places she can swim. However, Chuck does not live in San Francisco, so he needs a dog park discovery platform and a mapping system, and needs to be able to find parks with beaches. So Chuck's user task will be to come to Alpha Dogs, search through the dog parks to see which ones have an actual beach, map it out, visit the park and the park page, and check in once he arrives. So I haven't put in the link, but this is essentially where I put the link to my prototype. All right, so here's the home landing page, and this is where Nikki, my first user, would come as a brand new user. I've given Nikki the option to sign up with Alpha Dogs or to sign up using Facebook. She could also skip the sign up process and just begin exploring the site, but we're gonna go ahead and sign in with Facebook. I posted here about, Alpha Dogs not wanting to post on the user's behalf, and gave the terms and conditions. So here's a kind of greeting page. Congratulations, you're all signed up. you can go ahead and get started. You can begin by finding friends, or you can go and tweak your user settings. If you look for friends, then you're getting a list of people that are also signed up for Alpha Dogs and are your Facebook friends. Since Nikki decided to sign up using Facebook. So Nikki's going to go to the home page, and at the home page I've given users an overview of what's going on with their pack, that is, other people that they're connected to. They can swipe between the pack, the park, and the map activity. So recent activity is going to show with a red locator that park is being posted about. A gray indicator indicates no activity. The park activity, again, will be sorted by the most recent activity. So if someone's talking about Alpha Plaza Park, then Alpha Plaza Park is going to be the first option for Nikki to look at activity. And Nikki's going to choose to find her location on the map, which is automatic. This is a full Google Map API, so she can pinch and zoom and swipe as she pleases. But since she does frequent the park that is closest to her, that's going to be on the map right away, which is Alamo Square. So if Nikki taps on the Alamo Square locator icon, Alamo Square will be recentered on the map, and she'll get an info window with park information. And if she happens to go to this park all the time, she can add this park to her repertoire. That is, she gets a little indicator that the park has been added. So if she were to sort parks and look under her parks, Alamo Square would be at the top. She can also see what's going on at the park by viewing all posts. And again, these are sorted by the most recent. So the most recent post that has come from Alamo Square will be at the top, followed by the previous post going down the screen. And from here, she can either reply to these posts if she happens to have an opinion, know the user, etc., or she can check on the user if she happens to know them. In this case, she knows Jackson and his dog Brutus and wants to join his pack. That is, she wants to connect with Jackson. So she can tap, and a request will be sent to Jackson, and he has to accept. Once he's accepted, the user page will change. So when you go to a user, instead of getting a pack request, you can have you can then direct message them. So that was user task 1. Nikki signed in, she found her home park, and she connected with another user. So back to user 2, who was Sandra. And Sandra is getting ready to go to the park with her 2 children and her dog Barkley. And she wants to see what's going on with the people that may or may not be at the park. So Sandra would navigate to the My Pack tool. And from here, she can see all the people that she's connected with. Right now, we just have 3 other users that she's connected with. And from this page, she can search for people if she has a large pack. And she gets a little notification that there is a direct message waiting for her. She can also go to her pack posts. Those are posts made by other users, or her own posts. So we're going to start with pack posts and see that other users have been active lately, and perhaps one of these messages pertains to Sandra, so she can click to expand that message, and if she wants to say something back to Rhaegar, she can hit reply right here. And so we have Sandra's reply. All she has to do is, once she's entered it, is tap add reply, and the reply goes into the message to Rhaegar. If Sandra wanted to make a new post for all of her pack to see, she could go up to My Posts, tap New Post, and from New Post I wanted to give users several ways to give information to their friends. One, they can map their post, which is dropping a pin on the Google Map. They can add a picture if they like, and then they get content and then a post category, and this has things to do with what's going on at the dog park. It's an announcement if there was a fight, if there's trouble in some way, or if there's an event at the park. So once Sandra enters her information, she can add her post, and it will come to the top of her posts and notify everyone within her pack. She can also get in touch with people using direct messages, and as you can see from the indicator, she has a new message from Jackson. All she has to do is tap to expand that, see what Jackson has written to her, and then reply. So that was the user task for Sandra. And basically she can get all this information about what's happening with the people she knows, with the parks she goes to, and give them a little information about what she's going to do next before even heading out to the dog park. The final user was Chuck, and Chuck, being from Sausalito.
Time's up.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep going.
Okay.
Wants to find a dog park with a beach for his dog Bear. So Chuck could come to the home site, go to the dog parks tool, and the dog parks are automatically sorted by distance based on a user's location. They can sort by top rated dog parks or my parks, which are parks that you've added to your personal repertoire. And you can also search parks. So Chuck is going to search by the term beach, and he's going to get 3 results, all parks that have beaches. If he happens to see one that he likes, he can tap on that park for more information. And the park page is basically all the information a user needs to know about the park. We got the name, Fort Funston National Park, the distance from the user, a brief description, the park rating. Users can map it, they can add it to their parks, they can add a picture of the park, and they can check in. You can also see who is here at the park, who is currently checked in. Stella, Mr. Barkley, Jackson, Rhaegar. You can see the park features. You can see the most recent posts made about the park, and you can see user pictures that have been taken of the park and get directions. So because Chuck's from out of town, he's going to get directions, and this goes straight to your Google Maps app. And once he's got directions and made it to the park, he can check in. I'm at Fort Funston National Park. I'll be at the beach. You can notify your pack of this, and you can check in. And once checked in, that means, I gotta fix that link. Chuck will then be put in the who's here right at the front because he's the most recent person to check in. And if he happens to see someone he knows at the park, he can tap on their user image and send them a direct message and say, hey, I'm at the park, come meet me. So that is the walkthrough for my prototype using the 3 main user tasks. How do I get out of this? There we go. Come on. There we go. So the grand overview of my site focuses on 3 main tools: the back tool, the parks tool, and the map tool. User navigation also includes user settings, dog information, park information, pack information, and about us and frequently asked questions. So I would have gone through my 3rd user task as using my mobile phone, but it's not ready yet. So this is the area that I've actually coded for the site. Why is that?
Command L.
L?
Command L, yes. Uh-oh.
There we go. I gotta get these down before I actually do it. There we go. The tech I used to go into this site was HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, Bootstrap, responsive web, and the Google Maps API. My scope inventory is, again, the Google Maps API. I researched and coded for 11 different San Francisco dog parks, the park pages, and a dummy database for those parks, and a high-level prototype for the rest of the site. The next steps are to immediately take a break, refine my Bootstrap and style guides, and then find someone that can help me with front-end development and back-end development, whether that's another partner or a team, figure out a financing or business plan, find investors, and then go beta in around 5 months from now. Thank you for your attention. I will now answer any questions that you may have about Alpha Dogs or my presentation. Thank you.
Good.
Yay.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, you have 5 more